not just one Christmas tree, not just two Christmas trees, not just three Christmas trees, but another Christmas tree. Our setting, and finally, not the last Christmas tree, but for this, yes. Merry Christmas, guys. Hope you're having fun for the holidays. So this is what we have to work with today. Just taking a quick look over everything, showing you guys what might be happening. This is the main house. This is the pre-built cottage. And then finally, this is the dog house. So we've got everything in front of us and just checking everything out, make sure everything's there. I'll do this for each of them. And well, we gotta get set up and wash our hands. So that's what we're gonna do. So let's get started. We open up the package and we inspect the pieces, taking a quick look at them, placing them where they need to be placed. We snap these ones apart and then snap these ones apart. And that way everything's gonna be set out. Give yourself a nice layout. Make sure you have room to work and whatnot. Take a look at the candies and get some ideas on what you want, how everything to be set up. Now you see right here, I'm just cleaning off the edges so that when we put all these together with the icing, using the icing as the mortar, all the joints will come together as flush as possible for a gingerbread house. That's kind of like, if you ever done any mudding or actual made a sandcastle as a kid or something, this is kind of like that, except we have firm walls and we'll use the sand or the mud to as a mortar, which joins everything together. Now, what I decided to do was cut out the door, which is what you see here. I thought that might be a really cool idea, is to have the door that is already open. I know I'm a big fan of that. And it takes me back to when I built a miniature log cabin as a kid. So I'm like, you know what, this will be a really cool idea. Now in the second house I completely destroy the house because I think because no, it wasn't a pre-done one. But you'll see that later on where I just break it apart. Anyways, the icing is done where you do the first baseline, and then on the wall, which you'll see in this next piece, I'm just rolling this up like toothpaste. You guys will soon figure that one out. I mortar again on the side that's going to be basically glued down, and then you do the sides. And this process will be repeated for each of the 4 walls. The first one's a bit difficult, and then you also have to decide how you want the house to be placed. So once I figured out the positioning and everything, I decided to do that on the second side, on the left, as you see here. And then I'll work on one of the main walls, so that'll be the one with the gable in the front or the back, depending on how you look at it. And then doing another side piece. We go all the way around, and we do the same thing for the base. Do the line for the base there. And you kind of have to squeeze it out and push it into the groove that's right there. Now, nothing's going to be perfect as you go through with this, which was something I had to get over. I wanted the icing to come out nice and perfect the first time around. Not really the case. So it's going to be messy, and especially if you've never done this before. So don't worry about being a perfectionist. We're going to eat it anyways, so really, right? And at this point here, I just put in the door, kind of give it a nice little custom touch. And I went around the door a little bit there to reinforce it because I didn't want it to fall off. 1 hour later. Now you don't quite have to wait an hour. The icing actually sets up really quickly. So what I did here was just go into it and just slap the roof on. So I put the icing on either side. You could put some icing underneath the roof, but I put it extra thick on the top. And I knew I would push down firmly, but not enough where it would collapse the building itself. And away we go. You slap those 2 pieces in, make them nice, hold them there for a couple seconds so the icing can situate, and then you paste the icing down the center. And I didn't really do the greatest of a job there, but as you'll see, I decided to cover the roof itself and icing completely. I also braced it up too, just so that while I was setting up, it wouldn't just happen to slide off, and then I get on to the next one. And now we're gonna get started on the gingerbread house, since the cat and dog house is complete. Now hopefully the assembly of this one will go a little faster. Right here again, I'm just placing everything out, checking all the pieces out, and this is the one like you'll hear me later where I was remarking that I couldn't quite figure out the chimney piece because of the one angle piece. But I did eventually figure that out. So this one here, I'm just going to plaster the silicone in and around the unit, and I blew up the icing pack. And I'm just like, oh, okay, what do I do? And I'm just like, you know what? We'll figure it out as we go. So I grabbed the secondary icing pack from another one, and later on just kind of cut the top off of that, just kind of plastered in there. It's a good thing that I had the icing, as you see, in the little tub right beside, and that's what I used mainly for the icing at that point. Now I wanted to make the door in this one also open up, which we do, and but in doing so, when I was trying to cut it, because the gingerbread was so brittle, and I was in a little bit of a haste, I actually ended up breaking the front part of the panel. So I reinforced the gingerbread with the icing in the corners, and I'll do that throughout. And I'm just kind of plastering it everywhere. And this is where I got the idea to plaster the roof on the dog cat one, and I plastered the sides all on this one because I wanted to actually stick things all around it, which I think turned out really well in the end. You guys will see. It was quite an interesting little assembly for this one because everything seemed to be going wrong. Like, there wasn't one thing that I was doing that ended up correctly, and here's where the piece broke, and so I kind of like glued it together and tried holding it in there. And icing does not have the best structural components to it. I would never had that kind of forethought, to be honest with you. But we make do. As long as it holds up for the day of the reveal, I don't think nobody or anybody is going to mind. And this is right where my mind was like, hey, let's just plaster everything with silicone, with icing. It's basically what it is. If you ever worked with silicone guys or any mortar mixes or anything like that, it's all the same. It all feels the same. It all flows the same. And as you can tell, like, it's okay if it's messy. I am definitely not a cake boss, by far, bar none. And then here we just do quick time, just plastering everything all over the place. And now we're back into the roof section. And this one actually I didn't wait when I assembled the roof. I just basically pushed it on because there's so much icing. And this icing actually ended up being a little bit better because the other one was way too thick and this one was just right. I guess different icing consistencies between the three types of gingerbread houses, that's for sure. But I did the same thing like I did with the cat and dog one, just squish it together, hold it for a few seconds, just so it gets smooshed down, and then that way that mortar is all around, and then I just do the top piece. And as you'll see in the next, the complete photo, I ended up using the cat and dog icing to do the shingles. So guys, I just did a gingerbread house, ta-da, looks like butt. And then this is probably the cutest one. And then you have, what the heck happened to that roof? I really don't know what's going on, guys. Hey guys, just to finish off the video, still might throw something up in this area, it's blank, but not bad for what I would say first time in a long time. I can't really remember what age I was the first time I ever did a gingerbread house. Anyways, that story being finished, this is what she looks like.